Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. Listen everybody, I want to talk about some current events that are going on around the world. There is so much happening. It's just absolutely incredible. We're going to go ahead and jump into this, and one of the best websites that I like to view for a lot of these current events is The Watchers. Absolutely fantastic website. But we're just going to go through some of what is happening over the past couple of days. And you know, I mentioned a lot that, you know, this whole entire Planet X scenario is just not something that's going to occur overnight, and one day it's here, the next day it's gone. You know, over the course of last year and half of this year already, we've seen so many Earth changes. Some of them we just can't explain. You know, dealing with situations like these hailstorms. I mean, that is almost biblical. That's what I'm going to say. It's biblical. You know, and then you move into articles like this. South Korea enters summer rainy season. Okay, they have a rainy season. A lot of countries do. Up to 7 inches of rain per hour. 7 inches of rain per hour. So whenever I start using the terms biblical, that's all we've been seeing for months on end now. Flooding. Flooding, flooding, flooding everywhere. Saw a good dose of it in the United States. Early spring, late spring. Okay, some will say, Scott, it's nothing but natural disasters. Mother Nature. And then I say, well, in my 49 years, I've never seen anything like this. You know, you're always going to have somebody that's going to debate you and just basically try to say different. You're always going to have an opponent. That much is for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing things around the world that are just absolutely amazing. Amazing to see so much devastation already occurring. We are in the beginning of July 2017. Just crazy things happening everywhere. This next article, July 8th, 2017. I mean, once again, a Zika outbreak in flood-stricken Peru. I mean, people are dying. People are dying all around the world because of these crazy, crazy situations. I mean, we just saw what happened a few days ago in Japan. At least 11 people are dead, 14 missing, after unprecedented rains hit Japan. I mean, look at the devastation. This picture was probably taken after the water receded. But everything is destroyed. Lives are destroyed. People are missing. People died. I mean, you know, I think that, you know, some of these people that just want to debate you on this, I don't know if it is that they just don't have a heart. Maybe it's they don't have a brain. Maybe they just don't care. Well, the fact of the matter is, like I've said before, you know, this situation is going to occur around the world. Moving into some Earth changes. Los Angeles breaks 131-year-old daily high record temperature. 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Previous record was 95. Okay, you say, well, 98 degrees. Yeah, it's hot, but it doesn't sound like anything to write home about. But these temperatures are extreme. The last time this temperature occurred, and now this record's been broken in LA, this was 1886. 1886. 131 freaking years ago. Interesting. You know, we just covered the South Korea torrential rains, 7 inches per hour. We just talked about what just happened in Japan with torrential heavy rainfall, massive flooding, landslides. Again, 11 people lost their lives. There are 14 people missing. They're probably either deceased or severely injured. Who knows? Volcanic eruptions. This was on July 7th. In Russia. First time since 1952 this volcano erupts. First time since 1952. Once again, like I say, we're living in the sign of the times. There's no doubt about it. India, 400,000 people affected by widespread flooding, July 6th. 400,000. Heavy monsoon rains, widespread flooding. It affected 400,000 people. It says here, one of the districts was the worst affected. It affected 180,000 people. These are big numbers, man. More active volcanoes. June 28th through July 4th. 17 volcanoes. All of these eruptions, all of these earthquakes back on July 6th. Extremely dangerous magnitude 6.5 earthquake hits the Philippines. This was a deep earthquake. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. No, this was a shallow quake. But there are some very deep earthquakes occurring in this region. This one was only 6.5 kilometers, 4 miles deep. But I was looking at one of these earthquakes this morning. The depth of the earthquake was just unimaginable. Over 600 kilometers deep. Other ones, 540, 490 kilometers deep. Absolutely crazy. Let's load some more articles. Let's take a look. More earthquakes. July 6th. Strong and shallow magnitude 5.8 earthquake. Shakes Montana. Again. Shallow quake. 4.3 kilometers deep. A lot of you saw this article. Extremely heavy rainfall hits Japan. This was another region. 450,000 people affected. They had to evacuate. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that's close to 500,000 people. China, 56 people died, 22 are missing as massive floods hit China. 11 million people were affected. Intense earthquake swarm near in Macedonia. Ohrid. June 18th. This was posted on July 3rd. New giant craters explode in a peninsula in Russia, Yamal. I mean, this is like really wild stuff. None of it's being covered pretty much in the mainstream media. Once again, more eruptions at the Bogoslov volcano in Alaska. I mean, this blew an ash plume 36,000 feet into the air. More eruptions in Mexico. I mean, this is happening all over the world. Let's look at some more articles. We talked about the extreme and intense hailstorm in Girona, Spain. Folks, this looks like the city streets of New York in January. Sign of the times. Another shallow quake, but strong, magnitude 6.3. Hits off the coast of Ecuador. This was uploaded on June 30th. Very shallow, 7.4 kilometers deep, 4.4 miles. Extreme flash flooding in northern Illinois. After 6 inches of rain in 4 hours. Heavy monsoon rains cause massive floods. It cost the lives of 25 people. 25 people died because of these massive floods. Just a sign of the times. The sign of the times that we are in. But you know, we have this opposition that just, again, they just say, this is all natural. This is just Mother Nature. And I say, I've never seen times like this. And I've been on this earth now 49 and a half years. That's a long time. That's almost a half a century. More active volcanoes. More. Key word. More. Meaning plenty. Many. They continue to erupt around the world. Another earthquake. This one, very deep. Magnitude 6 earthquake. Right there in New Zealand. Man, New Zealand's a hot spot. We all know that. They got cracked pretty good last year with a devastating earthquake. And that earthquake in New Zealand last year, it was downplayed. Downplayed. Even still to this day, they're still downplaying it. This earthquake was 244 miles deep, 392.3 kilometers deep. This just occurred right at the end of June. Let's take a look at some more information. Another earthquake, strong and shallow, magnitude 6.4. Only 8 miles deep. Strong and shallow, strong and deep. I would never live in this area of the South Pacific. I've got a bad feeling about this area. Sooner or later, the laws of probability take over. You're getting hit, you're getting hit, you're getting hit, and bam, you're going to have some super mass destruction. Sinkholes. You know, it's been a little while since we've talked about sinkholes. People say it's no big deal. It's nothing to even talk about. Well, I think you're wrong. Because these sinkholes, all of a sudden, you know, starting last year as far as I can remember, these sinkholes and these big cracks in the earth, these huge earth fissures opening up, some of them miles long. But the opposition says that's just natural. In all my life, I've never heard about it till last year and this year. What do you think the reason is? Me? Well, I personally think that the Earth is being tugged on, pulled in every direction possible. Our tectonic plates stretched. Our Earth's core, the heat intensifying, the pressure intensifying. What are the reasons? Global warming? Grand solar minimum? What are the reasons? I mean, who can we trust? I don't trust the government. I trust my own observations. I don't trust mainstream media. I don't know about you guys. You know, it's really starting to hit home with me, folks. I don't know about you, but it's really starting to hit home with me what is happening to our planet. Forget about these trolls and these idiots and these debunkers. The hell with them. Yeah, and I apologize for yesterday, but look, I have to defend myself when need be. But getting into all of this material today, I woke up and I started thinking to myself, my God, look at what is happening to this planet. It's like it's falling apart each and every day under tremendous amounts of stress. Why? Well, I know why. I have my theories and my thoughts and my observations. There will be others that will say you're wrong. Okay, you have your opinion. But you don't bring anything to the table, and you can't explain to me now, as we sit here in the month of July, in the year of 2017, and hundreds of thousands of people on a daily basis are being displaced. Hundreds, if not thousands of people around the world are losing their lives prematurely. And then you have those that will say, it's just natural, Scott. It's nothing big. It's nothing to talk about. Well, that's just your opinion. I've always kept up with world events. I've always paid attention to the news. I've always paid attention to the weather because I used to travel for a living. I was always concerned with the weather. But waking up today thinking, wow, look at what's happening. And then I started to think back in time, doing research on, Planet X, as we call it. What will the effects be on our planet? You have those people out there that will say, if there was a brown dwarf near the sun, the Earth would be destroyed, or the Earth would be cast out into outer space. Well, folks, that's a lie. Blatant, 100% lie. There's no proof of that. None. I mean, let's face it, just because you play with a little simulator model on a computer and you input the data that shows the planet being expelled out of the solar system because of the presence of a brown dwarf, well, you have to put the data in to get the results. So if I put that type of data in, well, those are the results that I'm going to get. Therefore, deceiving you, the people. Things have been intensifying in Hawaii. Increased seismic activity at underwater volcano. Folks, we have I believe it's over 1 million underwater volcanoes. Then you start to think, and wow, what's causing all of these fish kills all around the world for the last several years? What's happening? You know, we hear about the beginning of the fish kills when they wash up on shore and they stink because they're rotting and they're dead. But we never hear what killed them. We never hear what the problem was. What causes massive amounts, 1 million fish to just die? What causes it? You know, I read some information about large schools of fish, accidentally swimming through or being caught up in massive methane gas plumes, a big methane bubble. Well, these scientists say that it would kill aquatic life instantly. Well, where's the methane coming from? Well, we know that there are some methane releases on the ocean floor around the world. But are we seeing active volcanoes around the world? I mean, they're stating that there's over 1 million of them. They can't keep track of that. Is that the cause? The internal pressure of the earth heating, underwater volcanoes erupting. We don't know about it. We're not being told about it. Animal die-offs around the world. We hear about it a little bit, but we're never given the explanation about what happened to those animals. Hundreds of birds just falling dead out of the sky, all over the roadway, all over the highway. Dead birds everywhere. People from the Gaming Commission, yeah, they pick them up, they take samples. They say they're going to be, taken for examination. But then we never hear what happened to the poor little birdies that just fell dead out of the sky. They don't say nothing. But that's where the big information comes out. The cause. See, they don't want you to know about the cause. That's the big secret. That's the point in our live stream from yesterday. What is being perpetrated against humanity on this planet? It's like the big fat lie. Earthquakes, they're natural. Volcanoes, they're natural. Bad storms, they're natural. Well, yes, they are natural. But we've seen now, over the last year and a half and going into the first 7 months of this year, we've seen things become extreme. And each and every one of us living in different parts of this world now have to really, really start opening up our eyes. We see information being hidden, skewed, taken away, deleted. Why would they do that? Think about it to yourself. Why would you hide something from someone? Well, the only reason why you hide something from someone is because you want to, keyword, deceive them. Who's in charge of deceiving you? Who's in control of the information? Who are these people? And why do they want to try and fool you? Those are key words. Those are key thoughts. Let's read another article here. Earthquake swarm near Reno, Nevada, California border region. You know, again, folks, I've traveled quite a bit for a living over a period of, 20-some years. I know there's some little earthquakes there in Nevada. But all of a sudden lately, it's almost on a daily in this state. Next article, dated for June 27th. More activity and explosive eruptions at Boguslav in Alaska. Ash plume reaches 30,000 feet. For all of you that aren't familiar with what volcanic ash is, well, it's basically like powderized glass. You know, we start having these massive eruptions all around the world, and we all start breathing this. We're going to have major problems. We already do. You know, the next article right below this, once again, you know, more deadly floods in China affecting 7.44 million. This may be related to the other story where, you know, the count got up to 11 million. More people displaced, more people dying, but they tell you to your face there's nothing wrong. Don't worry about it. Okay, sure, whatever you say. Shevelush volcano erupts again in Russia, spewing volcanic ash 40,000 feet into the air. 40,000 feet. I mean, that's about, what, 10,000 feet higher than a jumbo jet flies. This volcano's been pretty active, like a lot of them have been. I think at one point in time, folks, we had over 30, 32, 33, 35 volcanoes erupting around the world. But then people will tell you, oh, don't worry about that. There's nothing wrong. It's natural. Yeah, okay, volcanoes are natural. 35 of them erupting around the world at the same time. I don't know. That doesn't seem natural to me. And again, I'll repeat myself. If you don't like it, too bad, but I'll repeat myself. These things aren't natural. In my years on this planet, I've never heard or seen of 30 or more volcanoes in full-blown eruption mode at one time. Once again, over in China, massive landslide hits China. Over 120 people were buried under huge rocks. Not only are we seeing massive die-off of animals, we're seeing massive die-off of human life. Do you hear me? Human life, not animals, people. Okay, maybe they're not your people, but they're someone's people. They're someone's son or daughter or husband or wife, uncle or aunt. These people are now gone. They're not breathing anymore. They don't have any quality of life. It's been taken away. It's very sad. It's also very sad knowing from myself, knowing that a year ago, when I decided to start reporting on all of this, I felt the need to get out there, do what I could to let people know what was happening and what was going to happen. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. But you can clearly see now, as we have moved halfway through July of this year, I wish I had a total count so far of the loss of life on this planet since January 1st until now. So, you know, the first 6 months of this year, how many people have lost their lives to these massive natural disasters? And again, Yes, I fully understand that we do have these circumstances every now and then. But they are revolving around the world, around and around every single minute of the day. We're going through them. We're seeing multiple situations on a daily basis now. More articles about more active volcanoes. Again, increased earthquake activity under Katla volcano in Iceland. I do have one subscriber from Iceland. He sends me quite a bit of information from his country. You know, they're a small country. They have some volcanoes. They have some earthquakes. You know, folks, it would be very scary for me knowing what I know and living on a small island country like this with a massive volcano that could literally destroy this small country in a matter of minutes. And then what do you say? Oh, it's just natural, Scott. It's just natural. Don't worry about it. Guatemala. Weeks ago, I had major concerns about Guatemala. I published it. I talked about it. Many days later, boom, there you go. Massive 6.8 earthquake hits near the coastline of Guatemala. 6.2 miles deep. Then the 6.8, 37 miles deep. They had already gone through torrential downpours, rain, flooding, wind, and loss of life. Key word. Not earthquake. Loss of life. Loss of life. The Greenland tsunami. Okay, that was an interesting story. Thank God nobody was killed, I think. I know there were some people that were, reported missing. Interesting situation there. More from Guatemala. Landslide. Kills 11 people. Why? It was caused by heavy downpours of rain. You say to yourself, okay, should I be concerned about this? Well, they weren't your family members. But having the compassion in your heart to think that could have been you, that could have been somebody that you knew, or somebody that you were, related to. These things are happening every minute of the day around the world. I knew this was going to happen. I talked about it extensively throughout the last half of 2016. July, August, September, October, November, December. Getting into the first of the year, I specifically made a point almost in every video that I did, and I've done well over 800 videos in 11 months. I specifically talked about going into the month of May of 2017, how things were going to heat up. I don't mean the temperature, even though the temperature is soaring in parts of the world. But some say, don't worry about that. It's summertime in the northern hemisphere. Oh, okay. The temperatures exceeding 100, 110, 115, 120 degrees. Oh, but you don't worry about it because it's, 80 degrees where you live. Now we talk about Yellowstone. Yellowstone jumping into the news. The people over there at the USGS just downplaying it. Downplaying it. Oh, this happens all the time. Oh, I don't remember anything about this type of occurrence happening all the time in Yellowstone. Why did they bust out the big old Sophia plane and constantly fly specific patterns over Yellowstone? Do you know why they were doing that? Because they are measuring the ground swell, the rise of the land, literally like a breathing giant. You know, we saw more earthquakes overnight in the Yellowstone region and then just slightly north in Helena. I mean, we all know the magnitude of Yellowstone. We're not fooling anybody. You know, we have a big problem there at Yellowstone. Something happens. Yeah, we're going to be screwed. Plants, animals, humans, dead. That volcanic ash will get caught up in the jet stream and make its way directly across the United States, impacting the East Coast and covering everything in volcanic ash. And as I just stated, if you don't know what volcanic ash is, it's just like breathing crushed, powderized glass. That's what kills the animals, smothering out the plant life, blocking out the sun. You know, and then all of a sudden there's this big talk, all this talk about grand solar minimum. Yeah, you know, it's just ridiculous that they're pushing this grand solar minimum agenda. Hey, listen, we all know that the sun is going through an 11-year change, a cycle. We know that. We're not debating that. But an ice age in 2030? That's kind of far away. We can have an ice age occur with a massive explosion from a volcano like Yellowstone, a super volcano. So your ice age can come early, or it could never come. You know, folks, a lot of these people that push agendas, they're relying on data, numbers, mathematics. But you know, that's all fine and dandy. You can respect all of that. When it happens, it happens. But to me, data by the government, it just doesn't do it for me. You know, maybe it does for you, maybe some of the other number crunchers, you know, and report pushers, whatever. I don't trust government data. You know, these idiots make remarks about us who research Planet X and are trying to find the truth about this. You know, they squawk and run their mouth about, well, why do you use NASA's tools and models? Well, that's all we have, you idiot. Don't be such a damn fool. That's all we have. So we try to make good with the tools that we have. We try to decipher what is occurring. The fact of the matter is, these things are happening consistently now. Key word again, consistently. Everywhere around the world. Everywhere. You know, we talk about here, these power outages. Excuse me. No big deal. Everybody loses power. Well, why are they losing power? What's the deal there? Issues with the sun? We're seeing this on a consistent basis, day by day. You know, we had some really wild space weather yesterday. Oh, coincidentally, it's just a coincidence that in Northridge, California, a massive transformer blew up and caught fire, putting over 100,000 plus people without power. But then you have the people standing on the other side of the street saying, hey, man, just a freak occurrence. Had nothing to do with the sun. Nothing to do with the interaction of what's in our solar system that we're not being told about. Our sun's freaking out. It's acting crazy. But their agenda is grand solar minimum. That's their agenda. How far away are we from this minimum? We've been seeing crazy, erratic things coming from the sun now, going on 2 full years. The constant, consistent coronal holes, streams of all of these solar particles, highly charged particles, impacting our planet on a daily basis. Then you have the other ones that stand on the other side of the street, and they tell you that is just normal. Then why the increase in earthquake activity? Why the increase in volcanic activity? Ladies and gentlemen, I told you last year, and I also told you going into the month of January of 2017, just wait a few months. Just wait a few months. You're going to see massive outbreaks of earthquakes. You know, I was actually thinking yesterday that probably one of the main reasons why we haven't seen more catastrophic large earthquakes is because maybe the release of pressure from all of these volcanoes erupting around the world is releasing good pressure that would have maybe caused more massive earthquakes. And let's take into consideration those million volcanoes under the water in the oceans. Okay, we can take some fish kills. Maybe we'll have to give that up so these massive earthquakes don't destroy our land and our structures and cost people lives. So fish die, people live. Okay, we can do that. But is anybody coming out and saying, hey, listen, this is what's happening? This is the reason. You know, I get pretty mad about this this federal space office, space weather office that past President Barack Obama put into an executive order. We haven't heard anything from this office. Nothing. Where's my tax dollars going? Where is this place? Why don't they have a press conference? Why don't they say something? Why don't they issue a report? Does it even exist? What are they waiting for? Here you go. You know, more in Africa. Deadly floods. Rainy season begins. Okay, we know this happens on the continent of Africa. Here and there. But once again, people are dying. And if you say, hey, no big deal to that, well, maybe you ought to go drown yourself in one of these muddy puddles. Once again, intense rains and snowstorms hit central and southern Chile. 45,000 customers without power. 10,000 people without drinking water. 3,000 people homeless. Excuse me. Very sad what has happened through the month of June. You know, I wanted to do this the other day. I wanted to recap everything that has happened in the month of June, because the month of June was very, very active as far as Earth changes. Just around the globe in general, so much happened. Almost to the point, if you were going to report on this, you wouldn't be able to leave your computer. You would have to sit there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, till the month of June expired. Because that was the level of events that were occurring around the world. Once again, in the headlines, energetic sequence of earthquakes in Yellowstone National Park. But then they come out and they say, don't worry about it. Downplaying it, like they do with everything. They downplay it. And as I mentioned yesterday, folks, you know, it comes to that point in time where they cannot lose control of the people. You know, I had that guy over there, Lee Wilbarger, and Jake Riley, you know, basically last night laughing about the live stream that we were doing, because, you know, I made a statement stating that, you know, these governments, they don't want the people to get out of hand. And I made a statement saying that we outnumber all of the militaries combined on the face of this planet. They said I was wrong. So think about it. Are there more military personnel combined than there are regular folks on this planet? I mean, they're spreading disinformation really, really bad. I mean, they didn't like the idea that I had the NSA logo up on our live stream. I mean, it almost caused Lee to have a freaking heart attack yesterday. I mean, you got to go over there and watch their commentary. And they sat there and they lied and they lied and they lied and they twisted my words. When I was talking about the views on my YouTube channel being 13 million, Lee turned it into $13 million when I clearly stated 13 million views. So you can clearly see how they lie and they change the agenda. They want to push the disinformation of the grand solar minimum leading to an ice age. But we don't have time to worry about an ice age, folks. There's too much going on right now, each and every day. We know what the issues are in the solar system. We know what the issues are with the sun, and every single day is an experience. And you can wake up every day and you could put your feet on the floor and go to your kitchen and make your coffee and sit there and watch the sunrise. But guess what? Because of all of these natural disasters, there are going to be droves of people that will never see the sunrise again. Do they care? I don't know. I would hope so. That's my point. Call me a fearmonger, call me a mother effer, call me whatever you want. But you're not going to fool me into believing that all of this that is occurring around the world is just natural. Just natural. When I know it's not, and so do you. More volcanoes blasting off, spewing volcanic ash 40,000 feet into the air. Bangladesh landslide rises 150 feet. More eruptions at Chevaluche. 39,000 feet plus volcanic ash. June 14th. Winter-like storm sets new record in Nevada. Wow. Okay. Snowing in June. 62 degrees on the East Coast in December. Global warming? I don't think so. Earth wobble? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Big fluctuations in our jet stream? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I made a statement the other day talking about the rising temperatures in our North Pole, and you know, ice melt. Once again, you're wrong, Scott. You don't know what you're talking about. Where's your data? Where's your peer review abstracts or whatever garbage they spew out of their puke-ridden mouth? I don't have to have peer-reviewed reports from scientists. Scientists, you know, they're like the government, because they're supplying the reports to the government and for the government's agenda. So therefore, I think they're all liars. So I'll go based on my own observations. No, I'm not in the North Pole, but yes, I'm reading information other than what government scientists are putting out, and what people are putting out there that are pushing government agendas, like Lee Wilbarger and Jake Riley. Okay, these two fools are pushing a government agenda. I mean, you should have heard Lee Wilbarger, whatever his name is. All he did was talk about everything that he knows about the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Defense, and Department of Homeland Security. Wow. I mean, this guy knows every single thing there is to know about these government alphabet soup agencies. So what does that tell you? I think he's their boss. I think he's the U.S. handler of these factions pushing these agendas. He actually made a statement in their live stream that, you know, they're keeping an eye on me. The man stated that he knew what my house looked like. How would he know what my house looks like? Well, listen, Lee, the next time you're in my neighborhood, knock on the door. I got a present for you. That goes for you too, Jake Riley. If you know what my house looks like, knock on the door. Anyways, getting back to what we were talking about here. Again, magnitude 6.9 earthquake. Again, hitting Guatemala. Very interesting. 69.2 miles deep, 111 kilometers. Magnitude 6.8, Central America. You know, and everything that we've just looked at right now, folks, we're only into the 14th of the month, going in reverse. So, you know, just in the course of time that we've been on the air here, we've only covered half of the month of June and the disasters. Here's more people dying right here. 350 houses destroyed, 10 people killed, heavy monsoon rains. Just incredible. Now what do we got here? Record snow melt, raging rivers across America's west. Claims 21 lives. 21 people died. They'll never see the sunrise again. Keep pushing your agenda. Keep pushing your agenda while people die. But I bet if it was one of your family members, you would start rethinking your government agenda. You say that I spew garbage. I don't think any of this that we're looking at here today is spewing garbage. What I see here, ladies and gentlemen, is just what I said would happen when I said it 6 months ago, when I said it a year ago. I may not be the smartest man in the world. I may not be a scientist. But I know what I'm seeing. And I know that each and every one of you are seeing the same thing. I don't know about the other people on the other side of the street over there pushing the government agenda. I'm for the people. I'm not pushing no government agenda. I don't work for the Department of Defense. I don't know all of these things about the so-called, the way that the NSA and the CIA and the FBI work. Lee does. Lee knew all about it. Oh, why? Because he worked for the Department of Defense. He is pushing a government agenda. And Jake Riley over there is his flunky. Where did you think these people just popped up from, folks? You know, you just think about it, that all of a sudden there's this new grand solar minimum agenda, and it's filtered its way right into YouTube, right into Facebook, and right into Twitter, the three main social medias, and then you have the people pushing it. I had Lee so upset yesterday, I mean, he was stuttering. And then all they say is, where's your proof? Where's your proof? Where's your evidence? Where's your scientific reports? We have reports to back all of this up. We have reports to back all of this up. Blah, 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 blah. Where are your reports coming from, buddy? They're coming over with the United States government seal on them. So what? We have to believe that? I'm not going to believe none of that. I'm going to believe what I'm seeing. And on June 13th, when this article was published, I'm looking at 136 people killed in Bangladesh landslides. And then the report of the death toll expected to rise. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at some government seal. Once again, in Turkey, strong and shallow, magnitude 6.3 earthquake, right along the Greece border. We all know this is a hot spot. I think they're definitely going to continue to see much, much more. Once again, Boguslav goes off on the 12th, or excuse me, on June 10th, spewing ash 34,000 feet into the air. And we're only on June 10th, reported on June 12th. You know, folks, I'm not even going to go any further past this date right here, because I think, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I've proved my point to each and every one of you. I don't care about the people across the street over there that push the government agenda. But you know what? If you think the government agenda is what you need to hear, and that's where you need to be, then step across the street over there, stick with those people, and as the old saying goes, when the shit hits the fan, you're going to end up in a FEMA camp. That's where you're going to end up. You don't believe me? Take your walk across the street, join the government agenda, and see what happens. Take the chance. Go ahead. Go, 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 go. You've all paid your taxes. I don't care what country you live in. You're giving up your money to those governments so they can choke you with their fake agendas and their fake information and to deceive you. This has been going on forever. If you want to stand for it, hey, that's on you. I'm not. I refuse to. I refuse to lay down and roll the hell over and be walked on. My back is not a doormat. I would hope that each and every one of you feel the same. I'm just reading a comment right now here with one of our subscribers. Serious floods all over the country, Bangladesh. Okay, you know, there's probably going to be some people that lose their life. It's going to be a horrible day. Those folks won't get to see the sunrise again. But as long as you push your government agenda, it's okay. I'm tired of being lied to. Each and every one of you should be tired of being lied to. You've paid your dues. You've paid your taxes. Folks, it's time to stand up against these people. They don't like the idea that I stand up to them. I get them all discombobulated. They don't like me. They hate me. They wish death upon me. They would like to see me take my last breath. They would like to see me go away. I'm sure there's some others out there on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Call me whatever you want. I'm not an activist. I'm not a truther. I'm just a guy, a man that's going to stand up for himself, and I'm going to fight for the people. I'm not going to push some damn government agenda. We've already seen enough of that. Whatever happened to the day that you could rely on your government? Whatever happened to the day that you could have faith in your politicians who represent you? I've lost it. I'm sure a lot of you have too. You know, myself and the doctor, we are going to continue to do our investigations into what is occurring in our solar system. You know, folks, listen, you know, we may not come up with the big smoking gun. I hope I never do. I'll be quite honest with you. I hope that I never come up with the big smoking gun, because then I'm going to have to tell everyone on the face of this planet. The bearer of bad news. Destroy the messenger. That's what happens. Folks, don't be a victim of this disinformation campaign that is ramping up on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It is ramping up. And whenever they start doing this, this is a telltale sign that we're moving towards some more drastic times. Okay? Do your homework. Think about it. They're ramping things up. They are now coming after me and the doctor and some others, and they're trying to come hard. They're trying to force their agenda. They're trying to slander and spread the disinformation, but we're a lot smarter than that, because we can see with our own eyes what's happening. Don't fall for it, because if you do, you're going to end up regretting it. We've all experienced regret in our lives at one point or another. It's a dirty, filthy feeling. But you see, that's what these people want you to feel. They want you to feel that dirty, filthy feeling, because that is the agenda that they push. It's very sad times that we're living in when we have to worry about all of these things. And then on top of that, you know, you have to worry about your own personal things, your own personal finances, your family, your job, your health. Truly amazing what's happening on this planet right now. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you could take off the blinders if you do have them on. And I hope that you can truly, truly see what is happening. It's very, very sad to see people losing their lives. You know, these other ones that stand on the other side of the street, as I call it, it'd be a different story if it was one of their family members, one of their children, or even them. But they don't care about that. They don't care. They don't care. They just want to push the government agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, if any of you are following Jake Riley and that Lee Will Barger with their grand solar minimum, you're going to regret it. You are going to regret it. If it was up to them, they would lead you straight to the slaughter. That's their job. That's their job. Go back, listen to their live stream that they copied off of my live stream last night. Anybody who knows the inner dynamics of every alphabet soup agency works for the government. They're pushing lies and deceit. And as we stated yesterday, what we're dealing with here today is the biggest cover-up in world history. They want to keep you dumbed down in the dirt. They will enslave you. They will encamp you. You will have no life. And if that's what you want to do, then you cross over the street. Cross over to the other side and follow the devil's work. This is Scott from Planet X News. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me this morning.